Dr. Vrana, thank you for joining today, and I appreciate that you were devoting this time for us to learn about NDT 4.0. So I wanted to know what is NDT 4.0 and what does that mean for us in terms of our future jobs in this industry?
So thanks a lot for the invitation, first of all. And so NDE 4.0, what it is, it means about two things. It's number one, the use of all those emerging technologies coming up, all the emerging technologies connected with Industry 4.0. So you have artificial intelligence, augmented reality, blockchains, and all that other stuff. For the use of NDE to enhance our NDE methods or NDT methods. But on the other side, it also means that actually NDE is a quite valuable, or if you think about it, who is giving the necessary safety to industry? That's NDE. They are using us to actually provide the safety they need. And therefore, the idea is to use more of the data NDE is producing to actually enhance the safety more. Because if you enhance the safety more, then you can actually also make better products, cheaper products, and so on. So that's the two things to it. Number one, all the emerging technologies for an inspector, clearly it's mainly for support of the inspector. Currently, you are getting from somebody a PDF or some handwritten report, which component you have to inspect. You go to that component, you inspect it, and you put your results onto some sheet of paper. And finally, that is then transferred into some electronic system, and in between, you mistype something all the time. So therefore, that information, the core content of that information is lost in that process, because at some point when you mistype, that information is gone. So that's one of the key things which really will help an inspector and which will help the whole environment to keep all the results steady. Also an AI will support an inspector to identify here, and here could be indications.
There's two parts in me. I feel like the futuristic part of myself is excited to learn about these technologies, and I feel amazing that we're working on these things. But then the other part of me is worried that do I have to change my skill set going future, because I won't be relevant. The skills that I have right now of actually doing the analysis might not be relevant in the future, because these softwares are going to do 70% of the work for me, and then somebody can just take over and do it. So I guess the follow-up question for me would be, what change of skill sets would I need to cope up with NDE 4.0?
Yeah, you will need a lot of IT background. Suddenly, every NDE person or NDT person needs at least some kind of an IT background. And just a couple of hours ago, I had a meeting, a group which we call the NDE 4.0 ambassadors. And we talked exactly about this topic, that we really need to get into, what do we need to change in education and certification and qualification to keep people, within their jobs.
So IT background, does that mean I need to learn coding?
Most likely not.
So I need to, what exactly do you mean by I need to learn IT?
I think the first thing is you need to interact with a lot of computer systems. You have to use those computer systems. Like if you're if you're putting your results into a computer system, you have to know a little bit about how does a database work, how does your connection work, and so on. So that if you're in the field and you're entering it, that it is working. Because otherwise, the other one who knows how it is working, he will do the job in future and you will not do it if you don't know.
Right.
The same if you have an artificial intelligence and you see that this artificial intelligence is giving you results which are crazy. You need to have a basic understanding of what an artificial intelligence can do and cannot do. It will be a basic level of understanding of a database, of algorithms of that kind. But coding, Yeah, perhaps for a level 3, it will be getting perhaps even to the basis of coding. But for level 2, no.
Makes sense. So level 2 jobs are not in danger so far, right? With NDE 4.0?
I don't think so. It could, clearly with automation, a lot could change. But in my eyes, there are so many NDE jobs out there where it's just impossible to do automation. Yes, some jobs will get unnecessary, some NDE jobs. I think the majority will still be around, and there will be way more jobs created, actually, because once you have an automated inspection, you can actually use NDE for way more skills than what you were currently using it for. So there will be new jobs actually created, but those will be more on the way automated scale, so more than the level 3 stuff.
So what are you currently working on that gets you excited every day? Is there a project in NDE 4.0? I know you have done a lot of publications and research articles. What's something that's on your top of your list right now?
Currently, one of the things I'm really excited about is getting everybody excited about NDE 4.0 and getting people to work on it, because if we do not do it, somebody else will. And then perhaps we have to live in an infrastructure of a company, let's say, the next Amazon. And then they will do all the NDE and we will be all out of jobs. So it has to be NDE community to be doing it so that we can decide our future. So that is really the topic number 1, which gets me excited. Topic number 2, we're working on something to get standardized interfaces and document formats for our NDT equipment so that we can connect this equipment with Industry 4.0.
So Industry 4.0, and I absolutely, I'm not, I don't have a complete understanding of what it is, but a few presentations that I've attended, what I understand is in an Industry 4.0 revolution, all the machines are talking to each other. They are digitally connected in terms of sharing the data so that what's happening in that corner of the factory is also connected to what's happening in this corner of the factory. And the feedback loop is what makes the processes leaner and faster and more efficient.
Yeah, that's about it.
Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is about the core. So if, let's say, one equipment has some malfunction and it reports it to all the others, then all the other equipment will know that perhaps, that the goods to be created are coming late or something like that, and can be rerouted, perhaps using a different route through the industrial production.
Point.
Or if you collect all of that data and you know all the time on Monday afternoon there is something going wrong, then you better have a look into that.
I'm thinking if this technology will change the way refineries work, because in refineries, a lot of the times there is a malfunction that signals something to the people, but people try to ignore the warnings, or people try to come up with some band-aid for temporary measures, and then it goes out of control and something happens. If there's a way to connect that information across the refinery and make intelligent decisions automatically to shut off some valve, or depressurize an equipment if there is too much thinning going on in a pipe, and that might just shut down an instrument without having a person to make that decision. Because most of the accidents, if I look back into the refinery explosions, is because the people in charge didn't shut off the unit in time because they were worried about money, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So is that possible in a refinery setting where the a unit just shuts off automatically because of NDE 4.0?
I bet, yes.
That would be good. Okay.
Yeah, it takes out all of those stupid human decisions coming out of whatever reason.
Now, with this coronavirus situation going on right now, and you're in Germany,
Yes,
And
exactly.
Germany is doing a really good job. I've been hearing all over the news. They're about to reopen and
We hope
uh,
so.
so what do you think about NDE jobs in general? Because it's also not just the virus situation, but also the Saudi and Russian oil price war that's affecting our industry. And someone told me that the NDT industry is almost 60% oil and gas, and then the rest of it is the rest of the industries. How does that affect our job market coming out of this? Would we still have the same amount of jobs? Is it going to be less or permanently, or is it going to be less temporary? How does it affect?
Now, I cannot say what Corona will really do to all our jobs, but I think NDE 4.0 could be a way of saving some of them. Because with giving the inspectors a digital communication way of, for example, if you're going out to an inspection job, normally there are a couple of people around you, but which is not allowed anymore. But you could go for yourself on an inspection job, do the inspection, and if you need support by somebody else, then you could use some virtual technology to help you. Some engineer, some other inspector, some whatever. So that could help you keeping your or doing your job while maintaining all those distancing rules. The same, you do not need anymore a paper report you have to bring to somebody, but you send it electronically. Perhaps you have a drone flying to the place you want to inspect, and you do everything out of your living room. Now, that's perhaps a little bit
Right.
a far sketch, but actually there are tools like that around. Not for
Right.
everything, but it's coming more and more.
And something that you mentioned in the first answer that you said on this call today was blockchain technology. How does that incorporate into NDE? What kind of applications in blockchain would we be seeing in the future?
For me, that's mostly traceability. So if, for example, you write a report, you store your report, and that stored report is put into a blockchain. If you want to change it, yes, you can change it, but the changes will be documented in the next block within the blockchain. So all the changes you have done will be documented. So that's for me the number one reason that we have, a revision safe documentation.
Then if it's going to be on record on the ledger in the blockchain, would it be possible that other companies can see it because it's decentralized, it's not controlled by a central authority? Or is it still going to be private? Because if it's on a public ledger, because blockchain is like a decentralized, everybody owns the system. There's no central bank or there's no one governing institution.
Not necessarily. You can, that's what you know about e-currencies, where it's important that you can exchange it. But you can have a blockchain just for your company.
That makes a whole lot more sense. So what are some of the topics we should expect from you on your YouTube channel? I want to share with people that you have a YouTube channel specifically devoted to this topic, which is NDE 4.0. And I will include the link in the description for this video as well. People want to watch the videos. What are some of the topics that you're going to be talking about in the near future that we can expect?
Yeah, there are already, I think, 5 videos out there. One is about, what is the channel about? There is one about the 4 industrial revolutions. There is one about the 4 NDE revolutions. There is one about what is NDE 4.0. And there is one about the why of NDE 4.0. Why do we need NDE 4.0? So that's about the introduction I've done up to the moment. What will be coming next is the what or the how. So all those emerging technologies, giving some very basic for each of those emerging technologies to see then finally, okay, how it's playing together and how NDE can become a valuable data set actually for industry. I will also invite some colleagues out of the NDE 4.0 community to give some guest presentations. For example, I already asked a colleague, he's actually the chairman of the ASNT committee for NDE 4.0. His name is Dr. Ripi Singh, and he will give another video about the why of NDE 4.0. We're doing this 2 times and 2 times independently so that the viewers can get kind of a, 2 views are always better than 1. And finally, we will discuss our 2 views between the 2 of us to really come up with perhaps a better idea of the why. And there will be more persons I will invite to my channel and which will give guest presentations and where we will talk with the audience, with the guest presenter and me about all the questions you have.
I watched the first 3 videos on your channel, and that's why I got in touch with you in the first place. So
Thank you.
Really excited about your future videos as well. If somebody is in NDT in Germany, which certification schemes are more relevant over there in terms of ISO 9712, PCN, or does Germany have their own certification scheme?
We are clearly mainly using ISO 9712. There is also something for aircrafts. They have a special ISO, which is different than the ISO 9712. I think also the train guys have a different certification scheme. But most of industry is ISO 9712, except for some industries who are selling products to US or to US based markets, then you are suddenly within ASNT certifications. That's why we have, I think, about 150 ASNT level 3s in Germany. I know this number because I'm also the head or the chairman of the ASNT German section, and we have 150 members.
If somebody's looking to get education in Germany in NDE in terms of bachelor's or master's graduate education, what are some of the top universities in Germany that are offering that?
There is one university which offers really an NDE 4.0 bachelor or master, and
Really?
that's the University of Dresden.
Dresden.
But I would think the biggest institute in Germany for NDT education is the Fraunhofer Institute for Non-Destructive Testing, which is in Saarbrücken. But as far as I know, you cannot study NDT. It's just, they have a research institute, a huge one, and you can do your PhD in NDT.
Wow, I'm surprised they have an NDE 4.0 back.
No, sorry. I was speaking too much about NDE 4.0 today. No,
so it's just usual NDE.
No,
okay.
Usual NDE, yes.
Okay. Okay, I was like, Germany's running way ahead.
No, we are not.
Canada is government-based, and they control their certifications through the government, CGSP.
Yeah, and they're also ISO 9712.
They're also ISO 9712. So Germany is it's not government controlled, right?
No, it's not government controlled. It's the thing is, because ISO is a standard, and you have to follow the state of the art. And as the standards describe the state of the art, it's ISO.
Right.
And actually, every other ISO standard which describes an NDE methods or calls out ISO 9712. It's about the same all over Europe. It's everywhere we have ISO 9712. And it's about the whole world except for the US.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's you guys use metric system as well, right?
Sure.
Like pretty much the rest of the world uses metric system except US. It's fun. It's fun.
And
when I'm working on the other side of the globe versus when I'm working in US, it takes a couple seconds for me to translate inches and millimeters, and it's just pain to work in inches. Meters, millimeters, centimeters, so much easier. But
oh yeah, I never understood why US is so much stuck on their units. It would be so much easier just to switch.
I mean, even over here, people who've always learned the US system is they're having a hard time to what's 1/8, 1/16, 3/16. It's why do we have to measure in fractions? Can we just come with decimals and
Yeah,
smaller units? It's just
point two.